when I was in grade 12 at the public school, I was dating this girl and she really wanted to have sex. And I was just coming out of Catholic schools and like, I didn't know what to do. So I asked my cousin, he's like, you should just do it. I'm like, yeah.
He's like hit and quit it, bro. Matthew 4:12.
Well, yeah, it's actually John 3:16.
Yeah.
If you read it backwards.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab saying thank you for tuning in. We got another banger for you today. First time in the studio with me, killer comedian, comes out from the ways of Winnipeg, the States. This guy's everywhere. I can't even keep track of where this motherfucker is at any time. My guy, Nick Bueno. What are you saying, bro?
What's going on, man? It's great to be here. I'm super pumped. I love this setup. I love the show format, everything. You've done a really good job of branding yourself in the show, so I'm super pumped.
Thanks, bro. I try not to think of it as branding, but I mean, that's what it is. It's been yellow, a lot of yellow, use of yellow and black. Yeah. I think that's exactly branding, huh? Oh, and my boy, Dante Williams is in the house today, new producer for the Immigrant Section podcast. Finally, for all the listeners, you know, for years, I've been sending it out into the universe. God, please get me a producer who is competent and willing and capable and wanting to grow this thing. And it only took God 151 episodes to answer my prayers. You know what I mean? 3 years. But hey, he is here. The man is not mic'd up. But you know what? Check it out. For those people watching video, my boy Dante Williams. Can they see it? Yo, that's my guy. Now I got to get right back onto Nick. You're good, bro.
Boom.
You were worried for a second. Huh?
I was. I was like,
why are you
had
using your camera, bro?
I was like, you had it perfect. Well, I mean, if you had an arm long enough to stretch to that camera.
Just use my dick. We'll be here all day, folks. But yeah, welcome to the studio, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be
Ubered
here.
15 minutes late. I'm like, this guy must be a little bit black.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I was going to preface, like, you call it the Immigrant Section. You can't expect people to be on time.
Yeah, when I have the white guests on, they're like, should I arrive on time? Would that be culturally insensitive
like,
if I get there early?
Do you want me to bring you something? What do you drink, boss? I'm like, yeah, give me like 20 minutes. I'll be on.
But what is you're like Brazilian? What's your background, dude?
Okay, so my dad's Brazilian and my mom's Portuguese. And my dad, if you looked at his family, you'd be like, oh, that's a black Brazilian. Like, it's a mixed Brazilian family, but like predominantly black. Like
Brazil is one of those places that has a huge complexion spectrum, like India.
Yeah, it's got range, like mad. I remember I was at this
like R. Kelly.
No, he's got arc. That's what you call his.
It's called rape, actually. Keep going.
Also happens in Brazil. But anyway, so third world country things. But yeah, so when I was at a mic in New York, I was doing my set and I had some jokes about being Brazilian. And I remember there was this one kid sitting in the front, blonde hair, blue eyes. And I kind of made a joke that, like, because it was around Halloween, I'm like, why are you going as Baron Trump for Halloween?
Yeah.
And then afterwards he got up. He's like, yeah, so my family's from Brazil. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, it's like these are the Brazilians in politics.
Yeah.
These are the Brazilians that own everything.
Literally.
You know, these are the Brazilians that escaped Germany when they were caught when they knew Nazis were being persecuted.
Literally.
Did they go to just Venezuela or Brazil too?
I think it was Argentina and Venezuela.
Argentina,
mainly.
that's what it was.
I don't think there were many in Brazil.
Yeah.
Because Brazil's biggest thing with like...
They'd get too tempted with the hatred again. They're like, oh, these darkies, fuck. Let's go to fucking...
Well, yeah.
Argentina's like light.
Brazil was one of the biggest ports of slavery in history. Like African slaves, they have tons in Brazil. So that's why there's such a large black community in Brazil.
Legit, huh?
Yeah.
That's like the Eaton Center of slavery back then, huh? Dude, that's a fucking... I was going to say West Edmonton Mall of it, but whatever. But how'd you end up in Winnipeg? Like, how many mudbloods like you are in Winnipeg? Just probably cornering the construction business. I'm assuming half Brazilian, half Portuguese.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
If I had any concrete issues at this house right now, I'd be like, I'll just wait till Nick comes here. He's like, I've never worked with it, but I'll tell you exactly what to do.
There's a lot of Azorean Portuguese people in Toronto. I'm sure you knew that. Like,
I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I know Portuguese, Brazilian, the mixture I don't know about.
Yeah, well, I mean, so there's Little Portugal here in Toronto, and there's a large population of Azorean people. You know what the Azores is?
No.
Right? Okay, so there's the main, Europe, the little edge before the Atlantic Ocean. There's Spain, then there's Portugal kind of sandwiched next to it.
Yes.
The islands off the coast, those are the Azores, the islands of the Azores.
Do they count as Portuguese property?
It counts as Portugal.
Okay, all right.
It's like saying Alaska. Like, it's not a part of, it's not connected to the States.
Yeah. But we got dibs. We got dibs.
It's the States, right? Yeah. So, like, that's where Cristiano Ronaldo's from. He's from Madeira.
No way.
Yeah. So my mom was from this island called San Miguel.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's the biggest island in the Azores, and it's like diameter-wise, it's about the size of Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But because of the hills and the valleys, it takes fucking forever to get across. It takes like 3 hours to get across. Winnipeg, you can get across in like 45 minutes.
Socially, like socio-economically,
Uh-huh.
like Lisbon versus the Azores. Is it like the backwards country people in the
Yeah,
Azores?
yeah. The mainlanders kind of look down on the
Okay.
Azorians because they're like, you guys are like hicks. And especially my mom grew up in like a farm town in the Azores, so she's like Alabama.
She's
Portuguese.
Amish
Yeah,
Portuguese,
yeah, exactly.
You guys come into Lisbon like, the big city.
Yeah. She's Cajun Portuguese. That's
I love it.
that's what she is. Yeah. So like back, I can't remember how long ago this was, but a volcano went off in the Azores, and a lot of people needed to leave, and Toronto welcomed a lot of those Portuguese people, which is why there's such a big Portuguese community in Toronto.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Really? We're talking probably what, like 40s, 50s, 60s?
Yeah,
like
around
that?
there,
Just
around
volcano time, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, what about the Brazilian side? Oh, we just snuck in.
Well, the Brazilian side was more so because, so here's something about Canada. I'll take a lap around my point. A lot of people in Canada don't know what I am. And it's weird because if I go to the States, they're like, "Oh, you're Latino," like very clearly.
Yeah,
You're,
you are Mexican, and do not attempt to tell me you are not.
When I went to Mexico, I was in Mexico we can get to that as well. But in America, people recognize I'm Latino. They go, "You're Latino, but you look a little black, but you're mixed." I know there's a lot. And I'm like, yeah, there's not many Latino people in Canada, so they don't understand what the fuck I am. In Winnipeg, people thought I was like a hipster white guy.
Yeah.
That's what they're like. We don't know.
Like, what's with the fucking complexion, bro?
Yeah, what's with the hair? Where'd you get that permed, man? Like,
Yeah.
like it's called my parents' jeans. That's. But I'm like, you guys.
They're like, what is that, a vinyl store that sells fucking Americanos?
Yeah, it's
Parents'
it's
jeans.
it's a new spot in the Exchange District. They do hairstyles, you know. But it's weird because the name Nicolas Bueno is very ethnic. Like especially if you
Not Nicholas.
well if you look at the spelling of Nicholas, there's no H.
It's Nicolas.
Yeah,
Is that like biblical? What is
Well,
that?
it's the tell that it's ethnic because English, like Canadian American English spelling of Nicholas,
Hard H.
H always in there. French Nicholas without an H. Spanish without an H. Portuguese without an H. No place puts the H, but Canada, America, and I think the UK.
God, I feel like this is a bit, and the punchline's coming. You're like, no place puts the H except the Izzo. Dude, I don't know what I mean. I really expected like a punch to come.
I didn't have one, so yeah.
You're like, should I work? Do you think that it has legs?
Yeah, do you want to hear my other bits? Just pull my fucking notebook out of my bag.
Don't you love when people tell you, dude, that like you say you just have banter in real life, and they go, take that to the stage, and then you do, and it does not work. You're like, fuck.
Shit. I had one moment with that where I told my buddy, I'm like, I don't want a pet because it's too much responsibility right now. Like I'm 23, I'm very selfish right now.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of want to be a pet uncle. Like my friends have cool pets that if I go visit them, I can hang out with the pets. But then they don't come home with me. You know what I mean? It's like being the cool uncle but with pets.
Dude, I just got a puppy yesterday.
Oh wow! That's
Literally,
cool.
there's a puppy in there right now.
I saw that. I was gonna ask
so
you.
much work, bro. Today was supposed to be sleeping day. It's like, tick, 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 tick. And the craziest part about it is that getting a puppy makes you realize how introverted you really are.
Yes.
Because the amount of people that are coming up to me, dude, is fucking making me deeply uncomfortable. Deeply uncomfortable. Like I'm sweating. I'm like panicking, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like leaving.
what's his name? What's his name?
I'm like,
Can I
get
pet
away
him?
from me. I don't
You're like, I
wanna
want to
talk.
go home.
Oh fuck! I just missed the days when I would just fucking blend into the environment.
See, because eventually I'm going to go to Florida. I want to get a pet raccoon because you can own raccoons down there.
Dude, that sounds like a terrible idea.
They're like little toddlers, but I think they're so cute. And if I can find one that just sleeps all day, I'm totally going to get one.
They're little like bandits, huh?
Yeah.
Raccoons. Toronto's got some badass ones.
I've never seen one.
Dude, Toronto's got crazy.
I know
amounts
they've
of
got. I've
raccoons.
heard that it's like the raccoon capital of the world. But I mean, I live downtown, so
What about Hamilton?
I don't see raccoons. When I lived in Milton, my neighbors had they lived in their trees, so they would always peek their heads over the fence and they'd just be chilling.
Milton raccoons. God damn, man. I couldn't even imagine a Milton raccoon.
yeah.
That's
I
fucking-
used to date this girl. She sent me a video of her feeding a raccoon on a fence. I was like, I think I have to wife her now. Like,
So you like truly like raccoons?
I love raccoons. They're like my favorite animal.
Why?
They're cute.
What's the appeal?
They're super cute.
But besides that,
They're like
Have you ever
cat-
held one?
No, I want to. They're like cats and dogs, but wild. And they're really prone to get obese, so they're really funny looking when they're fat.
Yeah, they're always fat.
They're always fat,
Yeah.
and they got like the little hands that are really weird.
Yeah.
You ever see- there's like a video.
always.
There's a video I like watching of this guy. He's got like a treat and he turns it in a circle, and the raccoon does like a little pirouette and then falls over on his ass. But it's so smooth the way he does it. It looks like he's got a beanbag chair connected to him. There's no awkwardness.
And then the next shot, he mauls a child. It's like, yeah, well, let's edit that part out.
Yeah, they don't put that part on Instagram.
We'll put that on Raccoon Mauls Child. We'll make 2 viral videos out of this. The key is to stop editing right there.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but in Korea there are raccoon cafes.
No way.
Where you can just go and pet raccoons and drink coffee.
Dude, I've been to Japan, and in Tokyo there was cat cafes where you just the same thing with cats, and it may sound therapeutic and whatever, but it's like a lot of people in there seeking the cutest cats who like don't really want like. It's like going to the club with the hottest chicks.
Oh yeah,
but with cats. So it's like, and you're not like the most cat sought after people. You know what I mean? It's like you just go there to be rejected by good looking cats, like fucking celebrity cats.
Yeah, that's why you should go to the raccoon cafe because not as many people go there.
Next time when I go to Korea, I'm gonna go to the.
You got to do it because like in Korea and Russia, they're like pets. They're not wild animals.
Really?
I follow
what happened here?
A bunch of accounts.
You really fuck with raccoons?
Oh yeah, big time. Shit. Yeah, man. I like. There's this one raccoon I follow from Korea. He sleeps 22 hours a day, bro.
What does he do in the other 2? Fucks.
Sits in a laundry basket. Like he does nothing. I'm like, that's my perfect animal.
They're the real sloths.
Oh yeah, because he's so lazy. They take him for walks. They got a leash on him, but he doesn't like. He gives up, so they take him in a stroller.
Wow, do you hear this shit, dude? What the fuck is going on, man? What happened with the raccoons in Canada? I think raccoons in like cities that are like. There's a lot of excess in the privileged cities.
Yeah.
They get fat and fucking greedy because there's so people like toss every half-eaten pizzas and everything all over the place. They're you know what I mean? This is the city of like opportunity for them. You know?
It's
the land of opportunity.
Posh living.
Big time, dude.
Yeah.
Just fucking and they just. I used to have mad raccoons that were on top of my house. You just hear them whenever you like. Quickly pull into the driveway, you just hear, you know when like an animal tries to run too fast and they run in place?
Yeah.
All the time. Fucking fat fucks.
Yeah, the raccoons in Korea are like Buddha before he knew what suffering was. That's what they're like. Everything's perfect, laid out for them. Is this reference falling?
Yeah, I know. They're like hedonistic raccoons.
Yeah.
They're like did you ever watch Futurama?
Yeah.
Remember the hedonism robot? Bring me another grape, or dip me in a bath of oils and creams.
That's literally what Korean raccoons are like.
Raccoons,
Pet raccoons. Yeah, man, it's dope.
Bro, last time I did a show with you, like I don't remember if it was before the New Year or what. You're like, I'm moving to Mexico, man. Moving to Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And then I see you, and
you're
like,
kick me out.
What happened? So you were trying to move to Mexico.
Yeah.
When was this?
This was March. I got there March 1st.
Like a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so I had to leave March 13th. Well, I didn't have to, but they gave me... Okay, so here's how Mexico works. And this is... I remember telling somebody about this. They're like, that's so third world. And I'm like, it really is. So you get there. And you're
not going to Cancun. You're going to like Mexico City.
No, I went to Puerto Vallarta, but I flew into Mexico City because at the same time I didn't know. Apparently, if you fly directly to Puerto Vallarta or Cancun, it's much easier to get around this bullshit. Getting to Mexico City is where they catch you, and I didn't know this. So you get to Mexico City, and they're like, okay, so what are you here for? And I'm like, I'm just here to check out Mexico. I'm not going to tell them, yeah, I'm moving here illegally because what the fuck?
They're like, why do you have 19 bags?
Yeah,
and
they're
a
like,
raccoon?
And
what?
a family of raccoons. And so like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I just want to check it out. You know, I want to stay here as long as possible. They're like, all right, okay, cool. Here's 50 days. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you got to leave in 50 days. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, let me just do border runs. But I heard some stories of my other friends who were like, yeah, Canadians, they're really cracking down because there are so many Canadians staying there illegally that they're giving them like 50 days tops. And then if you come back, 30. Then if you come back, 2 weeks.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Do I really want to go through this or do I just call it quits and go back to Toronto and figure it out later? So I just called it quits. And I wrote a joke where I'm like, turns out Mexico doesn't like illegal immigrants.
Just as much.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
That's so funny, dude. Like, so you were there 13 days just chilling with the resort people?
Yeah, and I tried to do stand-up, and also stand-up there was really bad. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to get kicked out, it's going to be a huge headache, and stand-up here's really bad. And like I also felt like I was on vacation.
And you can't own raccoons down there. You're like, what's the upside? I forget. Besides the sun,
I can always buy sombreros for the raccoons.
Yeah.
I can always bring Mexico to the raccoon. I can't bring the raccoon.
Vice versa, can't be
to
done.
Mexico, and it was beautiful. Like I was in Puerto Vallarta. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
no, I've been to Cancun. Same type of vibe,
Yeah.
white sands, all that type
Hot,
of stuff.
but I also felt like I'm very neurotic and like ADHD and like obsessive. So I felt who would have thought? Check my Instagram. And I felt like I was on vacation, and I was like, I can't sit still doing this. If the stand-up's bad, I feel like I'm on vacation, and they're gonna kick me out. I'm just calling it.
The problem with down there is that were you living on a resort?
No, I wasn't.
Like right off a resort or like far from resort?
It was close. It was very close.
Yeah?
It was very close.
Because the resort living, the reason that I can't do all-inclusive anymore, I've done it like 2-3 times. I can't do it anymore because, like, have you ever watched Westworld?
No.
Both of you guys just like, no, sorry. We game. You know what I mean? Like, but like Westworld is like this idea of like a show where it's like the future, rich people, instead of like paying to go to fucking Morocco, they pay to go into this world that's like with these humanoids that are like perfect looking humans essentially, that are like in village style.
Yeah.
And you like pillage them. And it doesn't count as real rape or whatever the fuck because they're robots.
That's
right?
how you see Mexico.
Yeah. So no, that's not how I see Mexico. Yeah, this is of course.
You just do whatever you want
if
to
you don't
them.
see the parallels between Mexicans
Yeah.
and humanoids, then
They're not-
I don't know what to tell you.
They're
know?
not real
I don't know what to
people.
tell you. Yeah. But like the thing is, every day, no matter what fucking degeneracy happens, every day the robots reset.
Oh.
It's a new. Yeah, every morning it's new.
It's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt at Cancun at all these things. It's like the most debauchery would fucking happen, and then the next morning you look out of your like balcony and it's the same bartender making cervezas. Like nothing changed.
Wow.
It's like nothing is recorded. Nothing is different. I feel like, did I even live what happened yesterday? Is time moving? What the fuck? Like, we're not building. We're just resetting.
The one thing I didn't like about Mexico was like the garbage men would do their job at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
Like, why the fuck are you doing this? And like everything is. You ever seen that? You ever seen a Family Guy episode where they first hire Consuela?
Yeah.
And like Peter's just sitting there reading the newspaper, and she turns on like the radio, and it's just like this dude screaming in Spanish. That's what it's like all the time. All the time. It's just people are always screaming all the time.
Did you see chickens running around?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit. No, I was in Mexico. I went outside the resort. There was mad chickens running around. I like that shit.
I almost got chased by wild dogs. That was fun. I did kind of get chased by wild dogs. That was fun. I ran up like the mountain, and I remember there was this place called Terra Nobile, which I went the day before, and it's like this like retreat kind of like hippie place, and I was like, I'll just run there because they had a beautiful view, and I ran, and I saw these dogs. I'm like, oh, dogs, and I saw the look in their eye. Like 3 seconds later, I'm like, I should turn around now.
Yeah, they're stray, like rabied maybe.
Yeah, eyes are all red. I'm like, oh fuck, and then like so they're like running with me because they're fast as fuck. And I was like, I had to give them the work. You know,
Hardened by it.
Yeah, like
Are you a runner?
Well, I used to play college sports, so I'm like, yo, the college basketball ladder drills are coming in handy. Like, let me just give them this work.
Did that Richard Pryor low run?
Yeah, do like a quick stutter step, like a spin move. Like, get off me, bitch.
They're like, oh shit, this guy can hoop. This guy was AAA. I think this guy was started.
Yeah, this is why I got the scholarship. You know what I'm saying?
Get.
Yeah, give him a quick in and out hesitation. They just like fall over each other, break some dog ankles. Yeah.
Were there anybody? Yeah, you Kobe'd some Mexican dogs.
Yeah,
out
I almost posted them up. I was like, yo, give me the rock, fam.
Were there any other like not even Canadians, but were there any other people trying? I know there's a lot of Canadians there, but were there any other people trying to like live there that you ran into?
Yeah,
like trying to do what you're doing.
Yeah, there were. There's a guy from New York. He was the only other stand-up there. Nice guy, Keenan Steiner, really good guy, good stand-up too. He's just like, I was like, why are you down here? He's like, because it's cheap to do this. He's like, because it's a lot easier to be a stand-up full time when you're in Mexico.
How so?
Because
would he fly out and do stand-up?
No, he just lived there.
Yeah,
like he just
and did all his stand-up.
Yeah.
How many stage opportunities are there?
Fuck, man, like 2 a week.
Then maybe. How does he mean that? I
have no. I think he also does like freelance copywriting. But I also just think that I have no
freelance copyright. I feel like that's 95% of what he's doing.
Everything in Mexico is super cheap.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
Yeah. Like Ubers. I remember the Ubers like 57 pesos to get across town. That's like $2.
Yeah,
or like $3. I'm like, dude, this is cheaper than the bus.
He's like, it's surging right now too.
Yeah, literally.
Fuck, man. I want to go out to Mexico so bad. Actually, bro, I'm going down to I'm going to Podfest in May. First time I'm going to Florida. I'm going to Orlando, so I'm trying to hook up some spots. We've been talking about that because you just came back from Orlando. But my buddy, my old roommate back when I used to live in Detroit, he lives in Key West now. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to fly down to Key West first for 2 days, and I'm amped for that, which is pretty much Mexico, like basically in the sense of like geographically.
Essentially.
Dude, and I'm amped for that shit, man. Yeah, have you ever been to Key West?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty cool down there, I've heard, huh? Apparently, it's called the Island of Misfit Toys or some shit, according to Nick Swartzen. Like, because he lived there a year and a half during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, so many people, and I think the same thing with my buddy, too. So many people go to Key West for one reason or another, and they just fucking stay there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like Fort McMurray of the South, I guess, or some shit. You know?
People do that
Just
with
like
Fort McMurray.
like the money. Yeah,
Oh,
actually, no, scratch that. Fort McMurray is the opposite, where they go in and they run away as
Yeah, and they
quickly
run
as
away as
possible.
far as they can. Yeah, it's like Banff.
To suicide.
Is it like Banff?
Do people do that in Banff?
I
No,
feel-
it must be like Whistler.
Yeah, there
You know,
we go. Yeah,
Whistler.
there you go.
We found it.
Yeah, we had to. It took us a while, but we got there.
You been to Whistler?
No, I haven't.
How? All Australians.
Yeah.
Packed with us. Every person, every bartender, every waiter, Australian. They all do this 2-year program between Canada and Australia, and they all go to Whistler. They all come to Canada, and they all go to Whistler.
Interesting.
Dude, everyone's like, you know, right, ready to order? It's like every fucking person. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
Interesting.
Australians are like an interesting crowd, dude.
Because I mean, like the thing I've heard about Banff is like people just go to Banff to go like ski and do coke and bang, and then I don't know how long they stick there.
I went in the summer, you know?
Oh yeah.
So we could just do coke and bang.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah, just take the skiing right out of it.
And I just went with the boys, so it was just coke. You know,
yeah, we banged each other.
yeah.
Fuck.
Well, you know, it's coke, right? Yeah. It's not gay. We were coked out, right?
Yeah, it's not gay if you're high.
But we're like just zip lining and fucking going up the gondolas and whatever, and it's like hiking and shit like that, like in the summer. And there's like a boutique type of town. It's like it's so pricey. You could tell this is like white people fucking Mecca right here.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? This
like,
is like
that is
the
their-
peak of whiteness.
That's
right
their
here.
Jerusalem.
Yeah. Like this
Yeah.
is the homeland. Just Patagonia sweaters and,
Yeah, literally.
and pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah, white person rite of passage.
Yeah,
when you
it's
turn 23, you have to go to
You
Banff.
do the crossing in Banff. The rite of passage.
Yeah, you go do coke with your credit card in Banff
Yeah, exactly.
at some ski resort. Yeah, and that's the same thing.
And you wear that festival headband.
Yeah, my buddy had a wedding in Banff, which is like the whitest thing ever. It was
yeah.
beautiful, objectively beautiful. I'm not talking.
Oh,
about-
Banff is awesome.
Yeah, I've never been, but
Banff is the first time I've ever been to a place where I was like, yo, I recognize 2 or 3 default Windows like wallpapers. The default wallpapers, one of them is Lake Simcoe. For sure. I'm like, yo, I saw that this was Windows 98. I seen this shit, yo. This is when I fucking booted up Windows 98. This is what I was looking at. I've seen this shit before.
yeah,
They've got a bunch of crazy lakes. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Switzerland, but that's Banff.
no.
Like, Switzerland is just a whole country that is like Banff. Fucking crazy. The bluest water. Like, it's a crazy crime to pollute the water in Switzerland. Crazy blue. Like, stunning. Like, Switzerland is beautiful as fuck. Perfect, but kind of boring as shit. That's I like Mexico is like you need that chaos
Yeah.
of the chickens and
Well,
shit.
my friend, he's 70. He's dying of cancer. He's
Your
got
buddy
stage
is
4.
70?
Yeah.
How do you have a 7-year-old friend?
He used to be my counselor. Then we just kept talking when he retired.
Is he a pedophile?
Not.
Have you
really.
watched Jimmy Seville?
No, I haven't. But
Yeah.
it's consensual, so it can't be pedophilia.
Ooh, yeah. He's like, I was fucking him, so what does that count?
He's a bottom sometimes.
Yeah.
You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, he's like, because he's dying of cancer right now. He's like, yeah, my sister and I want to go travel to Scotland, but like, because they both got cancer. He's like, if the cancer gets really bad, we might just like do assisted suicide in Switzerland. I was like, that's the way to go.
Oh, 100%.
That's the way to go.
He's him and his sister got cancer.
Yeah, I think she's got brain cancer, and he's got colon cancer. Or,
That's a shit luck of the draw.
Or what? No, what's the when you need the catheter? Why the fuck can't I think of the word?
Like pancreatic?
Prostate cancer.
Prostate?
Yeah, he's got prostate cancer.
God damn. Is this in Winnipeg?
Yeah, back in Winnipeg.
Is there like polluted water out there? What's going on?
No, he just didn't get old people get cancer, man. No, he's like, I didn't get a physical for like 11 years. Turns out I had cancer for 6.
God damn. They always warn guys too about the prostate
always,
cancer.
Always.
He just needed he's like, and I was getting a finger in the ass too. They didn't know.
Yeah, they just didn't look
They didn't
deep
know.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He's like, they're like, there's something in there. He's like, yeah, there is. But that's
He's
fucked
like,
up.
it's gonna
though.
come out too.
He was a high school counselor.
No, he was like through Blue Cross. Yeah.
Well, why was Blue Cross counseling you? Like family, like
No, well, I mean,
trouble
I
counseling?
was like, I had a bunch of mental health issues when I was younger, and
Yeah.
so like I went to a psych ward. And
He's
shit.
like, now I just have a couple. Yeah.
I've knocked some off the list.
Oh, you went to a psych ward?
yeah,
What?
I did
like,
for 3 days.
Oh goddamn! What happened?
Yeah. Okay, so I jerked off a lot when I was in the psych ward. That's basically it.
Okay, but that's
Not a
at
lot.
the psych ward.
At the psych ward.
Yeah, but
prior. So
yeah,
I mean,
that got you committed.
The short answer was I was at a place in life where I didn't have anything going for me.
Yeah.
And I got cut from my high school basketball team, which kind of like, and I eventually transferred schools, and we ended up knocking my old team out of the playoffs. It was a great time. I shouldn't have been cut, but whatever. I got cut, and I was like, oh fuck, like I really don't like this is all I had, like basketball, and so
Like
just
basketball was your thing
all I had.
since a young age.
I
Oh yeah, I
kin-
remember you had glasses, you had the whole bit.
goggles,
Yeah,
and everything. I was
Yeah,
super unathletic, super annoying. It was
Yeah.
great. And so I was like, I don't really have friends here. I don't really have high self-esteem. I'm not doing well with school. I don't like school. So it was really tough for me. I got in a really bad spiral. And so I kind of told my counselor, I was having suicidal thoughts. And she's like, all right, cool. And she like called my dad. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm going to call your dad. I'm like, can you call somebody else though? Like, my dad's like an immigrant with his own emotional fucking
He's like,
issues.
don't kill yourself, faggot. You're like, oh my god.
No, he wouldn't even go that. He would just like pretend I didn't say anything. I'd be like, Dad, I think I'm gonna kill myself. I'd be like, so what did you do in school today?
Yeah,
just
deviate. Yeah,
completely deviate.
I couldn't even. My relationship with my parents, I could never say some shit like that.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm having, like, I could never say, like, it's either I say a positive thing or I just don't say anything.
Yeah.
That's our relationship.
Or you
we
talk-
can't talk negative.
Do you talk about like placeholder stuff? Like sports is a big thing for my family.
Yeah, in my family, it's religion.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the big placeholder there. It's like, you're having trouble. The prophet once said, trouble is to the grain of sand as the eye is to, like, what the fuck are you saying? I'm gonna blow my brains out.
When I was in high school and stuff, sometimes I'd ask my dad for advice, just to test to see if it still worked. And he'd be like, Nicholas, in the Bible, and I'm like, okay, it still works. That's good.
Yeah, was he religious?
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
I grew up super Catholic.
Oh, I love it.
Super Catholic.
I
Like,
love
I went
it.
to Catholic schools my whole life except for grade 12. I went to church every Sunday. I didn't.
Did you really, really believe in subscribing it?
I did, yeah.
And when did it switch?
When I left the Catholic school.
Between grade 11 and 12?
Yeah. Because, like, one of the things when I was in grade 9, one of our religion teachers told us, he's like, yeah, being gay is just like a disease.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, I just accepted
He's like,
it.
being gay is a disease. You know what I mean? Like,
He's like, so don't go near Father Max.
yeah. But get your prostate checked all the time.
I
though.
do it for free after school.
Yeah, exactly. It's a disease.
And
But
so,
yeah.
so I just, as I kind of left that environment, and it's funny, I like my priest and I talked a bunch. Yeah, some of my closest friends are my former counselor, my priest.
I love that, dude.
I know, yeah, it's
You're
great.
a comedian fucking born to be.
I know.
You're
So-
just there with, like, at the game. You're just watching playoffs with your fucking 70-year-old friend, the priest. Like, fuck yeah.
I was talking to him, and he was like,
Matthew 4:20, suck this.
we were talking just about like, because I was like, I don't know, a lot of people at St. Paul's told me that, being gay is wrong. That seems kind of ridiculous that God would make us like that and then send us to hell. He's like, yeah, it's fucking retarded. I was like,
The priest said that.
yeah. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, aren't you not supposed to say that? He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, dude, I'm the priest. What are people gonna say? Oh, you're a bad priest? Suck it.
Wow. So you had like a badass. He had like
Yeah.
a Marlboro pack at the in his sleeve. He was on a Harley revving it while he said,
Yeah,
"Dude, fuck it, dude." Brr.
He was like a bro kind of, because I remember because his dad died like a decade and a half ago. And I remember once, this is like 4 or 5 years ago, I was helping him out for something after church on Father's Day. And he's like, what are you doing right now? I was like, oh, nothing. I got nothing planned for today. He's like, you want to come over and watch a movie? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we like watched Napoleon Dynamite.
Dude, this is in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I never came across any religious, cool Muslim figure like this.
Yeah.
This is like, Christianity is just cooler like that in that sense. Like, where there's like, people can be more on the fence.
Yeah.
Like one time I did an episode of the podcast, like 80 episodes ago, we were talking about like the idea of a gay imam.
Mm-hmm.
And someone sent me a link of like, there's a Somali imam in Australia who's gay. And then people were like, people were like outraged. Like, that's fucking oxymoronic. That, contradicts all this and that, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas like nobody is saying that about this priest. Mm-hmm. No one's like outraged by that. Everyone's like, oh, that's sick, right? Like,
well, it's
they'd be able to get more of these like young Muslim kids if one of these fucking imams just started being cooler,
Yeah.
They're just all by the book, like Old Testament, like Quran.
Yeah.
Quran's never like rewritten, so it's all like Old Testament. Don't backbite. Do not check your children's room. You are their parents. You must check the drawer. You must check for the drug. do not do the weed, do not this.
Yeah.
The girl is I don't like all this shit, you know.
Well, I also had like a bunch of like I had an older cousin who was pretty Catholic, and he's like, yeah, dude, like that's because when I was in grade 12 at the public school, I was dating this girl, and she really wanted to have sex, and I was just coming out of Catholic schools, and like I didn't know what to do, so I asked my cousin. He's like, you should just do it. I'm like, yeah.
He's like hit and quit it, bro. Matthew 4:12.
Well, yeah, it's actually John 3:16.
Yeah.
If you read it backwards. And so he was like, yeah, man. Well, the thing is, like, you know, let's say the Catholic version of God is all loving, all knowing, all forgiving, and all compassionate, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, he'll get it. I was like, okay, we're done.
See, I did not have any of that. It's just like no. It's either people being like, just fuck her, and they're like selling drugs. They're like,
yeah, they're
going in a direction.
Weirdos.
They're going in a direction that like I don't want. I'm like, oh fuck him. Am I also gonna be at like fucking Metro trying to steal Mr. Noodles? They're like, fuck it, just bro. I used to get head in the bathroom. Like, you're not living a life I want to like.
Bro, it's a movie, bro. It's a movie.
Or the person's like, don't. This is a test from God. This is a test. Don't.
Yeah.
You focus on like it's either that or that. I never had some guy who was succeeding and was just like, it's all good. No one was like that to me.
Well, it's the idea of also like when I was talking to a couple of other religious people that I'm close with, they're like, everybody's fucking though. Like everybody. I'm like, everybody? They're like, everybody. Because one of my cousin's friends, he's close to the priest in Alberta. And the Albertan priest, like, yeah, I'm getting it on. Like I have hoes. Like I know priests who are gay who have like dudes. Like how the ones who don't are the ones who fuck kids.
Yeah,
that's how
exactly.
it goes. Because like he's like it's illogical and ridiculous. By the way, something red is flashing there. I'm not sure if that's.
Yeah, it's yours is not recording by the way.
It's a bomb, right?
Yeah, it's not recording. Yeah, welcome to the Immigrant Section. We want to give you the authentic experience. We all just die. Allahu Akbar. We're just in the pearly gates. Oh fuck! Episode.
I'd be cool with just as I reach the pearly gates.
As long as it posts somehow.
Did it release somehow?
Tag me. Yeah, exactly.
Can we make it a collaborator post?
Fuck, bro. I'll accept. I'll review and accept. I will accept. But like, you're right. You're right. Like the idea of celibacy, it goes against human nature. It's because it used to be that they used to fuck like crazy. The priests used to like be in wives. They'd be in like every chick like crazy.
Fucking everybody.
So then they're like, no more sex. The angel just came and told me there was a mistake in the scripture. You must not fuck. But boys will come and give you confessions every day.
Well, it's the idea of like. This is how I know it's all kind of BS, dude. Or not BS, but just like heavily biased, right? Do you know how many councils it took for the Bible to be written?
No.
So many. I can't remember the exact
councils.
Number. Okay,
like meetings.
Yes. So when the Bible was written, it was written at a time where Christians were being persecuted for being Christians, like a heavy persecution of Christians.
Wait, so Christianity came before the Bible? Wouldn't it be like, here's the Bible? Well, this is Christianity.
There's scripture.
Okay.
And there's writings, and there's the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And
the Old Testament was the first combination of everything.
It's the first book, right? It's the first part, and then if I remember
His
correctly,
Chamber of Secrets.
Well, they have to kind of put it all together, right? Because like
Stone.
I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan,
exactly.
but so the Bible was written. I can't remember when it was written, but it's the idea that
way back
it needs to be put together, right? Because it's consistent. If it was just like, okay, we have these writings and we're just going to put them together and that's going to be that, it can get misinterpreted so many times. And especially the one thing that I appreciate about Catholicism, the one thing that I really like about Catholicism, it's consistent, it's thought out, and it's educated. Like to be a priest, you need your BA in philosophy and theology. You need it. You need 4 years of a university degree of that. To be a pastor in like a Mennonite
you just need a hammer.
You literally need an untouched dick.
You got a saw.
And you're
you're the top guy.
You can go to Briarcrest in Cairnport, Saskatchewan for a year and you get your diploma. By the way, they offered me a basketball scholarship there. The only thing in Cairnport, Saskatchewan is Briarcrest and a subway connected to a gas station.
Actually, anyway, he's like, our women still have bushes. Consider it.
I would have killed
I won't.
I would have killed myself. But so back to it. The Bible was written by... There were a lot of councils. There were a lot of people involved in the process. For example, like, do you know who Jesus' best friend was?
Muhammad?
Depends which Bible you read. It was Mary Magdalene.
Okay.
She was a prostitute. She was a prostitute.
Oh, he was getting that pussy from day one.
I wrote this joke where it's like, they're making a second Passion of the Christ. It's coming out in 2024. And like, what are they going to put in the second movie I haven't already seen, right? Like, when Jesus sees Mary Magdalene. Yeah, I've already seen it on Pornhub.
Yeah,
Twice. Mel Gibson doesn't need to be involved, right? And it's like, okay, so Jesus is 100% God and 100% man, and his best friend's a prostitute. Okay, 1, he's hitting it. 2, why does she not have a book in the Bible? If I died, my best friend better get a fucking say in writing this book that has a lot to do with worshiping me and chronicling my life.
Because she's a chick, dude. It's back then.
Yes.
Man.
And also, there was also a book according to Thomas. Never got put in. He was a disciple.
Oh, and he was the one snitching and telling it exactly how it was.
He was a doubter.
He was a hater.
Judas was the snitch.
Okay, no.
Judas was the rat.
But this guy was a hater.
He was hating Thomas. Hating ass Thomas.
Jesus was running with a lot of questionable people, right? He wasn't the snitch. He was the hater.
Yeah.
But he was at the Last Supper, though?
Yeah, he was.
Let's get the picture. Let's see this nigga right here. I want to put eyes on this motherfucker.
He was the one who, if you know this...
Can you point him out if we see the Last Supper right now?
Maybe.
Yeah?
I'll need to see the picture.
And does the Last Supper, do we know who Judas is?
Yes. He's the one to the side talking.
They just talking shit?
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be the hater? Actually, I guess that's kind of the snitch.
Well, because if you know the story of the resurrection, here we are, Easter weekend, talking about Good Friday, right? On Good Friday.
I have no idea even what that means. Is that what Good Friday is?
Good Friday is the day Jesus died, which is weird. Why is it called Good Friday? Holy Thursday is the day that Jesus washed the apostles' feet. And so that was the Last Supper.
So the people that followed him were his apostles?
Yeah, he had 12 apostles.
And their feet were just dirty as fuck.
So dirty.
And he was just like,
Jesus'
you are
fetish,
my people. Have a seat.
His foot fetish was burning that day. Because Mary Magdalene...
was like, she was in Mexico, but she was out of town.
She was on a girls' trip. She was at Vegas with the girls. Okay.
Okay, which one of these motherfuckers here is... Okay, so which one is Judas?
I think Judas is that one right there.
Snitch ass nigga.
Yeah, snitch ass dude, bro. And I don't know which one Thomas is, but I know Peter is. Peter was the apostle. I think that's him, but I can't be too entirely sure. Because Peter, on Holy Thursday, Jesus told him. Holy Thursday, okay, so essentially, the Last Supper, Jesus calls the disciples together. They do the Last Supper. He washes all their feet. Peter says, Lord, you should not be washing my feet. I should be washing yours. And Jesus says, no, I'm a servant to everybody. So that kind of thing. And then Jesus tells Peter, before the cock crows, and yes, they say cock in every mass. They don't say
everyone's like, all the kids are
the subliminal messages in Catholic Church are off the charts. Yeah. He goes, you will deny me 3 times. And Peter goes, I would never. And so when Jesus gets arrested, when Judas
and then he goes, I would never. He's like, oh, fuck.
There's a lot of gay imagery now that I think about it. When the cock crows, Judas kisses him. That's how they know who to arrest. He kisses him on the cheek.
A kiss on the breast. The manliest of kisses, said Judas and the priest.
On the phallus.
Notice how none of the food is on the plates, number 1. Like, we got empty plates and food all over the fucking place. Number 2, would you ever want to be at a dinner like this? No one is paying attention to Jesus. He's in the middle. He's like, oh, these are my friends. This is my life. And everyone's like, look at him. Look at this nigga right here. Yo, you heard he cleaned the other niggas' his feet? Yo, my feet dirty as fuck. This nigga didn't even look at me. He didn't even wash my hands. He didn't wash shit.
Wild as fuck that like the savior of like the world and God's son is giving them his body and blood. And they're like, nah, we're just going to do other things right now.
Wow, and Jesus did not have diverse friends at all, too. Look at that.
They're all white.
All white and very Greek looking.
All honkies, man. That's a honky ass crew he's running with.
He'd get canceled right now for that. I'll tell you
this
that.
One's definitely Thomas. This one's definitely. Look at that fucking face, bro.
I know the one who is deceiving you, Jesus.
That's hating
Wash
energy.
my feet and I will tell you the truth.
So Jesus, he goes and he basically, when Jesus gets arrested, Judas shows up at the high priests and he kisses Jesus, and they arrest Jesus for blasphemy. And so
because of the kiss?
Because Judas tells him, I will kiss the one you know who you should arrest. Judas basically is one of his. So it's like basically if Dante
Dante's Inferno
snitch you out to the 7th level. It's ice cold, baby. If he went to the Toronto police and was like, I'm gonna show you the one with the corduroy hat is the one you should arrest, and then he sits down in here, and then one of the ops comes in and they arrest you, right? So Judas is with Jesus. They knew he was one of his boys. He sells Jesus down the river. Jesus gets arrested while he's in jail. Peter's sitting outside, and somebody goes, "Hey, you were like his boy, right?" And he goes, "No, I wasn't." And then he goes, "Hey, this guy, he's one of his disciples." And he goes, "No, I've never seen Jesus before." And then he does it a 3rd time, and then the cock crows, and then he goes and weeps bitterly.
That's so funny. And he says it a 3rd time. Like, And then
Yeah.
it's like, the prophecy.
Yeah, literally.
And
literally.
then when did he get fucking like stoned to the cross or fucking
Jesus?
nailed? Yeah, was that
Good
how-
Friday? Yeah, today.
So they nailed him to the cross.
Yeah.
The authorities at the time,
Yes.
and they were Jewish.
Yes. Jesus was a Jew.
Jesus was a Jew.
Yes.
So people always go, the Jews nailed him. So he himself was Jewish.
Christianity didn't spawn
It
until,
comes from the Torah.
until Jesus rose from the dead, and then more people started following him. So really quickly back to the Bible. One of the reasons why the Bible is written as strongly as it is, like unless you follow Jesus, you will not have eternal salvation, is because, let's put it this way, from a humanity standpoint, right? We're in the year
2022.
No, like let's say we're in the year 400 AD, and we're like, okay, we need to convert people to this religion, but they're being murdered for being Christian. You need to raise the stakes. You know what I mean? Like, how you convince somebody, be a Christian. Why? Because it's fun. Well, I'm going to get killed for it, so no. Be a Christian. Why? Well, you're not going to have eternal salvation if you don't. Oh, shit, really? Yeah, you remember Jesus. You remember his miracles. You remember the teachings and all that stuff. They converted some, Christians are called Messianic
Like, you remember
Jews.
that shit that happened just enough generations back that for sure no one saw it? Yes, that guy did some things, and you should give up everything for that.
Essentially. So Christians are called Messianic Jews, Jews who follow the Messiah. And so Good Friday comes, Jesus, in the morning, Pontius Pilate, who was basically like the executioner or the judge at the time, every year on Passover, they can release one prisoner from jail. And so Pontius Pilate's big thing was he was a pussy. Like he wanted to be liked over everything. So he kind of
I can relate to this guy. He
kind of wants
this guy's a comedian.
he wants to wash his hands clean, so he goes to the crowd of people and he interrogates Jesus and he asks him like, what went wrong or what did you do? And Jesus kind of gives him like these very like stoic, godlike answers, and he goes to the crowd and he goes, I see nothing wrong with this man. And they go, no, crucify him, free Barabbas instead. Barabbas is like a murderer and rapist. And then people are like, yeah, free that guy instead. And so he goes, okay, who do you guys want to free? Jesus Christ or Barabbas? And they go, free Barabbas. So Barabbas goes off, and then they whip Jesus, they give him a crown of thorns, they beat him. He has to carry the cross all the way up to Calvary Hill, which is like, I have no fucking idea how long. And then there's the Stations of the Cross, which I used to have memorized. I don't anymore.
This is how bored people were back in the day. They had to make a show of these punishments. he will be the A card will be placed on his head from 2 to 2:30. 3 to 4, he shall be bearing the cross. 4 to 5, we will take a small intermission. 5 to 7,
Yeah.
the cross will be nailed against his back.
Yeah. So,
Dude, let me just say real quick. This is why educators, like religious educators, should be a little cool, smoke a little weed, because you'll educate the fuck out of the young people. I
Literally.
don't know a quarter of what you're saying in Islam and like Islamic lore, and I was raised in it religiously, hardcore, where there was no minimal knowledge.
Yeah.
It was all about just recite this, memorize this, let's not talk about what it means, pray 5 times a day. Like, there's no education, like, it's all just recitation and prayer and this and that. And you're just like, you have a fucking deep understanding, bro.
Yeah.
This is like a university paper, right? This is more
I
than
wrote
I've ever known
tons
about
of essays about this stuff.
Catholicism. By the way, real quick, going
Yeah.
back to, you said how many councils, how many meetings they had.
Oh, yeah. So it's essentially, basically, they had a bunch of councils together to determine, because there were a lot of books that were in contention for what went in the Bible.
Yeah. Book of John, book of this.
Yeah, all that shit. And so they eventually decided what is best for the Bible to be put in. So essentially, that kind of shows me that, like, there's a lot of human bias, because, like, that was their council at that time putting that shit in the Bible in that place, right? And one of the reasons, so this is a brief synopsis as to why premarital sex is deemed bad by the Catholic Church, right? Let's start first with masturbation. Faulty science, they thought it was killing babies. And also, when you were young at the time, you were married. So if you're a woman, you're considered property, so you don't get sexual agency. And if you're a man, you have multiple wives, and when you're young, you're already getting married. So why the fuck would you masturbate? By the time you hit puberty, you're already getting a wife. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Have kids.
Yeah.
And fuck many women.
Yeah.
Right? And so extending that, premarital
Which
sex
is the new rapper's motto. You know what I mean? Don't beat off, fuck her, have kids and have many hoes.
Dude, the Catholic Church.
The parallels.
The Catholic Church would be a wicked Migos ghostwriter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Brr. Jesus, Judas. Yeah. Brr.
Yeah.
Deception. Oh, clean my feet. Nigga to the feet. Brr. Yeah.
Mary Magdalene, prostitutes.
Yeah. Fuck that bitch twice. Ooh. Yeah.
Also,
sticky.
is it not sketchy that, like, when Jesus was like 7 years old to when he was 30, that's not documented in the Bible at all?
So it was documented from birth to
when,
7.
When he was a kid, like when he was a kid, and then when he's 30 and on. There's like 20.
They're like, oh, don't, that 23 years, don't.
Yeah,
That was his hope.
Jesus
period.
was
Don't even. He He was finding himself, growing his hair out, fucking memorizing like Pink Floyd albums and shit like that. Dude, that's fucking wild. And you know what's funny? In Islamic lore, they say that the Quran came from like the angel Jibreel to like Moses, I think. And like he went and told someone and they like wrote it out.
Yeah.
So, and that's obviously not what happened.
Yeah.
It was obviously a group of the high scholars took together all the stories and put it together in the same kind of way that all of them were done.
Yes.
But at least in Catholicism stuff, you guys know you have a backtrack of like, we put the stories together. When Islam, like, I know God said it to one guy who's illiterate and he memorized this fucking 300-400 page.
That just sounds like Arabic Mormonism.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the Book of Mormon came to be?
No, I do. I want to watch the play. I heard it's incredible.
So how the Book of Mormon came to be is because Joseph Smith was visited by an angel.
Yes.
And the angel talked to him and he wrote the Book of Mormon.
Oh, no, this is what I've learned.
But only he could read it and only he could understand it. So he is the only one who could write it.
Yeah. Like that type of stuff, you're like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
But like, at least just tell me it was like the smartest people at the time. Like, I still know like very stoic people who are like, they believe it fully. Where it's like, isn't it funny how like in the evolution of human beings, right when our brains got to this capacity and we all congregated in small villages and societies, that's the exact time that we defined the history of everything. You know what I mean? Like, if there was a book of religion that came 50,000 years before people could read or write, I'd be like, oh fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Let's look at that shit. You know what I mean? But it came right at this time where everyone was like, has the same brain capacities as us now. You know what I mean? Like this shit was put together, 1500 to 2000 years ago? Same brain. We've had the same brain capacity and everything for like 10,000 years. Biologically, we're like the same. Over 10,000
Well, think about it like this, right? Because like those people before that time probably passed on their stories and they have the same teachings.
It's all a collection of stories because humans remember nothing but stories.
But it's interpreted from when those people could start reading and writing and when politics came into be, right? Because like again, like back just to wrap up the premarital sex thing, like masturbation's wrong because of those reasons. Premarital sex
keynote
is also exactly.
Let me land this thing, bro.
I got to get this off. Also seen as wrong because as a man, you're married to you got hoes. If you're a woman, you're property. So like, why would you be having premarital sex? It makes no sense. So
as a woman,
just in general, because like a guy, why would you be having premarital sex? Because you haven't even gone through puberty.
He's like, just get one. Dog.
Yeah, well, you haven't even gone through puberty yet, and you're gonna get hoes anyway. If you're a woman, you don't have sexual agency, and you're not going through puberty yet. So what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So it makes sense.
Yeah,
from that point of view.
When you break it, it's kind of like. Have you ever read like books about the red pill and like?
No, but I've read Huckleberry Finn, the original red pill.
So the red pill talks about like.
Are you talking about Reddit, red pill, blue pill shit?
Well, yeah, essentially. You ever heard of the book The Rational Male?
Yeah. Is this like one of those auxiliary books of like the game and shit like that, right?
Essentially,
like all that, like it's, we are men. This is how we are to become the best.
Rational Male is more so about like awareness, general awareness as a man of how dating really works. That's what it says. And I think like I'm like 80-20 on it. Like there's 20% I'm like, nah. There's 80% where I'm like, this is really good. And he basically talks about like, he uses evolutionary psychology to kind of break down how men and women operate in dating and sex. And when you kind of free yourself from, I really like them, from your emotions, you can kind of see the inner workings and pull back the curtain of how things really work. That's kind of how I view religion. Where it's like, oh, you believe it in yes, Lord and God, and this is my life. But it's like, when you break it down, it's like, what is the spirituality that works for you based on your upbringing, based on your current beliefs, based on how willing you are to change, based on how you identify, based on values, blah, 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 blah. That's really like my personal opinion with what happens when we die in religion. I think whatever you think happens. I think our mind is so powerful and we create our own realities, whether it's here on the physical plane or in the afterlife afterwards, because who really knows what happens? And we are energy, right? Like, does energy die? I think it just gets transferred. So whatever you convince yourself of happens, that's what happens.
Actually, Noor Kidwai's got a bit that says exactly that. I just heard it yesterday. He's like, you just be... Eddie does an energy dance. He goes like, what? Some of us believe they're energy. They're just energy up there. Like, this energy dance was so fucking funny. But yeah, like, he's actually got a bit about that. But like, that to me is just as plausible as heaven. It's just as plausible as nothing. It's just as plausible as like, I do believe the energy thing though. Because, equals MC squared if it comes down to it, like from an equation point of view. Mass and energy have an actual equivalence.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So all I can know, like all I can assume, all I can extrapolate is from what I see.
Yeah.
From the physics of the earth. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that, like, I still have felt things where it's like there's no rational explanation for them.
For sure.
But that
Me
doesn't
too.
mean that
Same.
there's a heaven with a pearly gate.
Of course.
But that just means that there's a realm and like a realm right around us that we can't attune to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just there's metaphysical phenomena happening all over the place. Like I told the story of like when I was in boot camp, the sergeant told us like when you are, we have a whole, in boot camp you learn like a bunch of different things. And one of them was like approaching the enemy quietly, right? And one of the key things when you approach the enemy is you never look at them. You always look around them. You pick a rock next to them. You don't look at them. Because we have this sixth sense as human beings. You ever like be walking in a mall on the bottom floor and then you just look up to the top right and there's someone looking down at you exactly?
Yes.
And you didn't look around. You looked exactly to that spot, right? You're like brain waves attuned to each other, maybe through evolution, whatever the fuck it is. But there's a lot that we don't know, right? And that I think is that just comes down to energy, right?
Yeah.
So what happens after the fact? I think energy stays around. I don't believe in all like, oh, there's a setting. I don't believe that no one went to the dead and came back and said, this is what it looks like. It's in the clouds, there's a gate, all that shit,
Of course.
right? But then it could very well be. Anything is, it could very well, by some fluke chance, it could be exactly as written in the Bible, Quran, whatever. By some fucking, you know what I mean? Because anything is possible. Infinite opportunities, right?
Well,
one of them is that.
I had this situation where when I was in San Diego last year, I took like a 6-week America YOLO trip because I thought Canada was going to lock down. And they did, but I missed the timing. I got back as soon as they locked down. And I was in San Diego, and I called an Uber. I returned my rental car. I called an Uber to take me to the airport. And this guy picks me up. He's like, I really like your bag. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He seemed like kind of a hippie guy. I was like, oh, whatever. He's driving barefoot. I'm like, whatever. This is a nice guy. We're having a nice conversation. He's cool. And he goes,
I cleaned his feet and
so I licked his feet dry, like Jesus would with Mary Magdalene. And then he crucified me. No, and he told me, he's like, we were just kind of talking, and he was like very like spiritual, kind of like hippie kind of guy. And he goes, you know, you're on a really cool path, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I am. And he goes, by the way, like when it's time to take that leap, something's going to come and test you, and it's going to be everything you ever wanted, and you're going to have to say no to it. And I'm like, okay. And then recently something happened where I'm like, oh fuck. What the hell? Where I kind of look back on it weird, but it's like, now anybody can say that.
I know,
and it's true.
Yeah.
But that being said, that guy picking me up in San Diego at that moment in my life and things kind of going the way they are, happening like that to me is a bit weird.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many unexplained phenomena. And at one point I was just like, I was raised so religious. I had a stint in atheism. But then atheism sucks. It's like the worst club.
Jesus Christ.
I'd rather be like, I was raised so hard Muslim. I'm like, I identify with the club of Islam way more than any of this other shit. So I'm Muslim. I don't believe in this other shit. Do I believe heaven, hell? Nothing. I just believe be good now, and whatever happens, fucking happens. Just be a decent human being, right?
I'd rather be agnostic than atheist.
Yeah. I mean, fuck atheism. Like, it's like, I believe in nothing happens. It's like, okay, sure, that's
it's all
cool.
pointless.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, but I don't want to be part of that club. Nothing. You know what I mean? Right? Wearing that shirt, nothing happens. But but at the same time, though, it's like the fucking fortune cookie phenomenon. Well, religion has mastered this.
Yes.
And so many spiritual people and palm readers, they've all mastered the art of vague suggestion advice. Just perfectly specific and vague. That's how like the Chris Angel and all these types. Someone is named Ryan. I'm
John Edward,
Ronnie's saying that there was a death. Ronnie's grandmother? Yes. She's saying like there's a fucking mechanical feature of doing this, just like comedy, where there's like a muscle memory.
It's like a Mad Lib.
Exactly.
Like a Mad Lib.
Like choose your adventure
If you're a
type shit.
spiritual person, here's your spiritual Mad Lib to tell people. Bang, bang, bang.
It's exactly like you were saying, how you create your thing. Whatever that guy says, that one line, he says that to every fucking person that comes in the car. And maybe 100 of them remember it. And everybody will have that moment where it's like subjective. Because if it's like if it's just vague enough and specific enough, a mixture, a balance of vagueness and specificity that's perfect, it fucking wedges into your brain. We're like, what the fuck?
Well, have you ever had
now
like
fucking-
something happens and you're like, this is a sign. Like this is
Always.
I should be here, and then it doesn't turn out the way you want. And you're like, oh, it's easy to like revisionist history, be like, oh, maybe it wasn't a sign, or oh, it was a sign telling me something else. But I personally like believing in that stuff.
Me too.
I love believing that there's a spiritual being or energy guiding us to where we need to be. We just need to answer it by looking inward. Because one, I think life's more fun that way. And when you
It's like a game. It makes it more of a game, right?
What's
like,
that? I can't remember the movie, but there's this quote from a movie where it goes, if you look enough for something, you're going to find it. Like,
course.
whatever you look for, you're going to create more of. So it's like, if I believe that I'm being guided by this spirituality and it's going to help me achieve my goals, and I'm going to be a better person for it, and I'm going to serve others better for it, and my family's going to be happy, and eventually, like, if I want a wife and kids, they're going to be happy, and my career's going to be, like, fuck yeah, I'm going to believe in it. I'll buy in 150%.
Do you ever want to buy something off Amazon and you're 90% sure you want to buy it, and you start scrolling through the reviews, you see a negative one, you scroll right past it.
Yeah.
Because you're 90% sure you want to buy it. You're skimming past. You think yourself you're being objective, but you're like, 1 star didn't work. Oh, everything has a faulty product. That's 1 in a million. It's fault. And you just are focusing on the positive. Or if you kind of are on the fence about it, you only are going to the negative ones,
Yes.
right? You know what you want going into it. But on the note of signs, coincidences are signs that you decide to believe that there's something else there.
You get to choose the meaning. Yeah.
You get to choose the meaning, right? Like when I finally, like, I went through my whole life thinking I had to be an engineer. I became an engineer and I was so unhappy and I didn't know what it was. My whole life I loved stand-up and I've been absorbing it like crazy. And then 2 years into engineering, I'm like, well, why can't I do stand-up, right? I think about it. I'm like, I'm obsessed with stand-up. Why can't I? I was always conditioned to think that's not a career. As an immigrant, you got to doctor, medicine, business. These are careers. Stand-up, these are chosen people who were born. Chemistry was so crazy. Jim Carrey, he was born to do the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are not, you don't just become those things.
Yeah.
And then I challenged that mindset. And I was like, fuck that. I'm going to try it. And I found out where there's an open mic. And I started writing. For months, I was writing. And I was scared. So I'd be like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to go until I have a perfect 5 minutes. I got to hone a perfect 5 minutes before I go to this open mic, which I know where it is. For like 2 months, I did that. And then I'm afraid. And then I go to New York to visit my buddy. We go to the Comedy Cellar. And who is just coming in there by coincidence? Dave Chappelle. My fucking idol, goat level, like the guy, like out of anyone in the world, that's the guy. Out of anyone in the world. You know what I mean? More than Tupac, more than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he comes and he performs, and he not only performs, but he does like crowd work, and he's just testing out. This is when Trump just got elected and he hosts SNL. So he was trying out some of that monologue, and some of it was just like he's just doing crowd work. And it took that God status away, because I can tell he's just looking around, trying to make the room laugh, looking at what's happening. It took this. I used to think he was a god, because when you're young, you don't realize this guy's been working on an hour for 2 years, and he finally is filming it in a place, and that's the special you're watching. You think he's god level all the time.
You just think he's just on.
So that, first of all, the fact that he's there, I'm like, what the fuck? What are the odds? And then the fact that he's like not murdering,
He just shows his humanity.
he just shows.
Fuck.
Dude, all of that, and I go pee, and I'm like, I'm gonna go talk to him. I'm gonna, because he's talking to everybody, whoever walks by. And I need to pee, so I get up, and I'm like, he's like, what's going on, bro? I'm like, and in front of everyone, I was like, I'm gonna say something that's gonna make everyone laugh, right? And I'm like, not much. How about you? You know what I mean? Like, I starred out type of thing, and then he's like, see, Black lives do matter. This is back when Black lives. So I go and I pee, and I'm like, if that's not a sign to go and do this fucking open mic, I don't know what the fuck else is.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just a coincidence. Dave Chappelle frequents.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Dave Chappelle frequents the Comedy Cellar for decades before this. He's a staple at the Comedy Cellar. He comes there all the time. He's doing this. If you look at the logic of it, there is no like angels involved or anything, but I choose to be like, fuck that.
Exactly.
That's a sign.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make it, and I'm gonna tell him that's the reason I got in.
I also think we choose our own luck.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like we choose to have good luck or not, depending on what we do. Because this is one of the things. Like, you ever heard of the book The Secret?
Yeah, of course.
People
he made fun of that.
People hate The Secret so much.
Just visualize.
The issue with, and I've never read The Secret, so I can't talk about it. But whenever
it's the
I tell people, I visualize and I do affirmations every day, and I meditate, I journal,
You're like, okay, get pussy, get pussy, get pussy, get pussy.
Yeah,
Let's go. Let's kill the day.
I need to turn down pussy. I'm getting so much. My phone's blowing up. I need a new phone. I need multiple phones.
He keeps looking at his phone. It's like, no notifications yet, bro.
Yeah, where the hose at? Hinge, Tinder, Bumble,
It'll come.
plenty of fish. And so, and I do these things. I remember I was seeing this girl, and her mom laughed at me. She's like, "You're such an idiot. Like, why do you do that stuff?" I'm like, "Because I like doing it." She's like, "Oh, is this like some of the secret shit where like you think that it's gonna help get you famous? Because it's not." I'm like,
wait, you were seeing a girl and your mom was mad at you?
"No,
said?
her mom."
Oh, gotcha.
Her mom, yeah. Those two things aren't related. I was
Yeah,
seeing this
like,
girl,
wait.
and my mom got mad at me.
I'm like, wait. So her mom was thinking, like,
talk
why
shit.
are you dating this guy?
No, she was talking down on me doing my affirmations.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, doing my affirmations and journaling and all that stuff. She's like, it's not going to work. I'm like, but here's the thing. People forget that you need to affirm and you need to visualize because things are always created twice in your head and in reality. You need to actually put the steps in place to do it.
You have to see it to make it.
You actually have to do it. Like,
Yeah.
you, Abbas Wahab, cannot do this podcast. You can't kill. You can't do a Just for Laughs submission. Any of that shit unless you finally got over that fucking fear that you had and did the open mic.
Yeah, of course.
I was talking about this with a friend the other day. Things like love, things like luck, things like skill, things like confidence, they aren't things that are in short of supply. They're skills that get better the more that you do them. And you're not going to be able to actualize and bring to life the thing you want in the end if you don't first struggle with it in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, let's say I want to be on Netflix 5 times and I'm going to be an 8-figure comedian. I am an 8-figure comedian. I'm speaking it right now. Well, I won't know what that looks like until I know what 23-year-old Nicolas Bueno doing stand-up in Toronto looks like now. And I won't know what the second step is until I move to Orlando and I figure out what stand-up is like there. And I continue to write and I continue to evolve. Like, you need to see the end in mind first, reverse engineer, but you cannot see those steps and how they're actually going to look until you fucking do the work. And you ever heard the quote, a good plan executed now is better than a perfect plan done tomorrow?
Yeah. I love that.
Doing is always, always, always better
Take the
than
step forward.
theorizing,
Yes.
right? So many people get lost and they procrastinate. They're like, I need
Paralysis by analysis.
I was when I played basketball, I was like that. My coach once, he was like, I can see you thinking on the court. I'm like, nice. He's like, that's bad. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. That's me all because, I was very academic.
Yeah.
Very like my parents were very put this risk averse thing in me as immigrants. They're like, oh, no, none of that. Just do engineer this. Fucking.
Did they give you equations? Or
No,
like,
they
if
didn't.
you do engineer,
Oh,
you will, like a boss
exactly.
plus engineer equals.
It's not even if. They're like, you will be an engineer.
Yeah.
Like people like, oh, what are you going to be when you grow up? They'll be like, they answer for me. Like this is how I was raised. Engineer. Haykun muhandis. And then it'll be like, he doesn't like that. You know what I mean? And then eventually you condition your children and then they go down the road and then I just am thankful that I had the stupidity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Some people call it bravery. I'd call it the stupidity to leave a big salary for this, because it's not a smart move by any chance.
According to what,
If
though?
20 people do it, going what you are visualizing, if 20 people leave the job, how many are going to get to what you just said?
I don't know.
Two? I'm saying in reality, what, two? Talk about any of the pros who are talking about what the people that they did the open mics with. Who's still with them? 1% of the people?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just the reality, the funnel of things, right?
For sure, yeah, of course. 1%. I'll go one.
Right? So
1 out of 20.
So 99% failure. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty stupid move, right? If you look at it just purely mathematical, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, fuck it. At least in the meantime, I'm doing exactly what I want to do.
Well, I think the thing I like about your story is that, like, you asked a better question. Like, I hate when people go, what are the odds of you making it? That's such a stupid question. What are the odds of me being fulfilled and learning more? And actually
100%.
doing meaningful work. That's what matters.
What are the odds of doing exactly what I want to be doing? 100%.
Exactly.
So let's just go that way.
Right?
Let's
Like,
just go that way.
The odds, and this is, I remember when I decided that I was done with everything and this was my fuck it moment. I was on the bus, busing from Planet Fitness, South Pembina to the University of Winnipeg. I got up at 4 because my shift started at 5 and I worked till 9 and then I had school and then I had my podcast later and I had comedy later. I was like, fuck, this sucks. And I was reading this Tony Robbins book and he asked like these questions. What kind of life do you want? No limits asked, whatever. I answer and he goes, what kind of skills do you need to get there? And I answer and he goes, what kind of life experiences do you need to get there? And I'm looking down at this shitty bus and I'm going to school and I'm like, not this. So I dropped out immediately. And so a bunch of people were like, oh, well, what if you don't make it? It's like, well, hey, I'd rather die on my own sword. And what's the alternative? The safe route where I'm just repressing what I want in order to get married, white picket fence, and work for True North Sports and Entertainment as a PR person. I'd rather kill myself. Sorry. And then get depressed. Like the depression in marriage failure rate are so high. That's likely. Yeah, I don't want that route. Fuck that.
I did it. I suppressed it. I suppressed those thoughts for 5 years, thinking like, no one's supposed to like school. It's school. No one's supposed to like it. And then there's people studying shit they like. And that I could never understand. I hated it because this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. Suppressed it 5 years. Now I'm in the fucking industry suppressing it. Like no one likes their job. Like you're just reaffirming. It's like you were saying, the mantra can be used negatively too.
Yes.
Like no one's supposed to like school. No one's supposed to like their job. 7 years later, you're like, okay, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Yeah.
Because this is the worst feeling in the world. Like I can't keep waking up feeling like ass. What is going on here? And I made the move. And here we are, you know, and it's still not realized, but we're going in the right direction.
I like this a lot more than whatever the fuck else is on the table, though, right? Like, you're lit up, right? Like, you glow when you do this shit. It's fun. This is what you want to do, right? Like, my brother was asking me because he was asking me for advice, and most people would think it's weird because he's quite a bit older than me.
46.
He's 80.
You're like, get pussy.
He's 80.
Yeah.
Just repeat, get pussy today.
Yeah,
that's the affirmation. But he was asking me about no problem. And he was asking me about things in his life, you know, what kind of things he can do. And he's like, should I pursue, because he's already got a job teaching. He's like, should I pursue what I love or should I continue to do what's going to make me money? And a lot of people struggle with that question because I personally went, fuck that. I'm going to do what I love and it's going to be what I want to do. My friend, his name's Jay. He runs this company called Jagger. Very, very successful recruiting company here in Toronto. He's worth multi-millions. He went the other route. He's like, no, I'm going to build skills that I know are valuable, and that's going to set me up. I think whatever path has the underlying belief of, fuck it, I'm doing this no matter what, it's me
the right path.
I believe in it, that's the right path.
Exactly.
If it's the skills, go there. If it's, I'm doing what I love, you'll figure it out when you come with the conviction of, come hell or high water, this is me.
Yeah, my older brother's got that old school immigrant mentality of like being like, money is the most important thing. I'm like, money is so important. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm just saying it's that donkey and the carrot analogy, right? If you run towards money first, you're going to end up lost. You know what I mean? You got to run towards what you love. And then that will get you money in a sustainable fucking way. You may not become a trillionaire, but it'll get you money in a sustainable way where it's like, I don't have to drain and kill my life force to make the money that is necessary. You know, if you're just focusing on the money, then what the fuck is the point? You're draining your life force. You know, it's like all those people that have that old style mentality. I worked 90 hours this week. I worked 100 hours this week. You're just bragging about you're renting out your life to this company. You know, you're literally renting out your hours of your life for the highest hourly rate possible. It's like, sure, you're winning, but are you? You know what I mean? Fuck that shit, dude.
So many people say hard work is such bullshit because how come construction workers aren't rich? Yeah, well, hard work is necessary, but it needs to be efficient work.
It needs to have there has to be a feedback loop.
Yes.
Do I like this? Is the reward I'm getting
worth the time
counterbalancing the detriment to my body?
Yes.
I'm you know what I mean? Like I'm detrimenting my body and my life force for this amount of money. If I'm fine with that, keep doing your thing. But it's like once you get on that fulfilled thing, dude, it's a different level. It's like suddenly it's a fucking game, dude. It's a game, man. I love it. Not like when Kevin Hart said that on Rogan, I never like resonated with something more when he's like, life has a game-like quality to it.
Yeah, totally.
And when you get out of the rat race of just trying to chase the money first and then being like, oh, I'm going to do what I love and try to master what I love, then it's full, like I'm in full game mode right now. I'm trying to unlock JFL. I'm trying to unlock America. I'm trying to unlock, you know what I mean? Halifax Festival. I'm trying to unlock headlining set. I'm trying to unlock Netflix. It's like unlocking these fucking things, you know? It's not just like, before it used to be just like, oh, I have a salary. I know I have vacation in 4 months. I've already spent the money. Like, most Def said this, when you make your money in a way you're not passionate about, you're in a rush to blow that money. Yeah. Because you're like, I fucking wasted all this time to get this. I'm going to have fun with this shit. That's what I was doing in engineering. I got a crazy car, crazy place, all this shit, just trying to bury those feelings. Yeah. And now I don't, unless it's for the podcast, unless it's for my projects, unless it's for like the art I'm making, I don't spend money on anything, dude.
Yeah.
all my clothes are Value Village now, and I love it. It's like a treasure hunt. And be like, oh shit, look at this.
I feel the same
It's
way, yeah.
already dried, so I know it's not going to shrink on me. It's even better. It's a quarter of the price. Let's go. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yo, this has been fucking awesome. But
Yeah.
I do a couple of questions at the end.
Of course, yeah,
Let's
let's do it.
land this thing, okay?
Let's do it, yeah, let's
First
do it.
question: did your ass get beat growing up?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah?
Not as much as other kids, but yeah.
Portuguese side or the Brazilian side was beating that ass?
There's more Portuguese family, but it was just both my parents. My dad, I don't know. They took turns. I'd say my mom would hit me more though.
Yeah,
Yeah, Portuguese side for sure.
the Portuguese. Did
Yeah.
she grow up getting hit?
Yeah, big time.
like
yeah.
big, like
Because
like
my
farm
dad,
shit.
Okay, so how we didn't even answer this question at the beginning. How my dad got to Canada, his parents split up, and his mom took him and his siblings with her new boyfriend to Canada, and they were like super dysfunctional. Child care home, like foster care got involved and everything. So my dad has a bunch of repressed things. He only hit us like when he got to his breaking point.
Gotcha. All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he wanted to like have a stable. He wanted his kids like to have a good thing because
Yeah.
his shit was like chaotic.
And he was also like, yeah, like your mom will hit you. Like, why do I need to do it?
Gotcha.
It was the
I love that
opposite.
shit.
You know how many people were like I was afraid of dad?
Yeah.
Ours is the opposite. We're afraid of
Yeah,
mom.
my dad would hit me, but I was afraid of mom.
Yes.
Because mom would be the fucking one being like, what the fuck? This? She was the really religious, so it's
Yeah.
like it was like that dynamic. So for this question, you can answer both of the sides, but like, what's something that the Portuguese do or the Brazilians do that you haven't seen anybody else do?
Okay, so my mom's side does this especially because they're like the Hicks, right?
Yeah.
They cut off vowels in words, and it drives me fucking nuts because like I didn't know how words were spelled. I don't speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
But like when they'd say things like, I have this uncle, his name's Francisco. So in Portuguese it'd be Francisco.
Yeah.
And so tio is uncle.
Yeah.
But they call him tio Francisco.
Francisco.
Yeah, they just cut everything off. Like instead of tio Francisco, they
Yeah.
say tio Francisco.
Even in English, like talking in English.
Yeah,
they
they're like,
just-
yeah, I was talking to T. Francisco the other day. I'm like, bro, what are you fucking, like, who is that? That's not a name. Like, I had this uncle named, his name's Eduardo.
Yeah.
They cut, because Tio and Eduardo both, like, the O and the E are next to each other. They just cut both of it off.
Duard.
And he's T-Duard.
What?
Like, who the fuck is that, man? That's not a name. That's not a
How
person.
did that happen? What the fuck?
They're just Hicks, man. Like, they're
That's some the Azers or whatever.
the
the fuck?
Azores, yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Miguel, yeah, Ponta Garça.
Now I'm gonna listen to Cristiano Ronaldo. He got money. He started saying the vowels.
Yeah, my mom-
As soon as he got money, right?
My mom
He's
hates
like Lamborghini.
My mom hates him because she's like, no Portuguese guy is that hairless. Like, he zapped all that shit off. I'm like, why does it matter?
I
She's
know.
like,
She-
because
he's not from the Azores.
He's not. He's not
from the-
Portuguese.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's funny because like my dad, he's very hairless. Like
Yeah.
indigenous Brazilian people are very hairless, and my dad got more of the indigenous side than the black side. But like, if you look, his siblings look more like Dante. My dad looks more like me.
Yeah.
And his uncle looks more like you. And
So he did all the loan applications.
Yeah, well-
right? He's like, I got you guys. I'm gonna walk into the bank. Just hang back here.
And one of his uncles is like really dark. Like he's like so dark when I wasn't born, but when my middle brother was born and he visited him for the first time, he was kind of like freaked out because he'd never seen somebody that dark.
Whoa.
He was like, yeah, the racist baby, right?
Yeah, Brazilians are like a litter of puppies. How like they'll be one will be white, one will be dark.
Yeah. So like if I showed you like a picture of my dad's family, yeah, there's like dark skinned dudes in there, light skinned dudes in there, half and half. My dad looks like me. So,
Sudanese are like that too.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
I have cousins who like my cousin is literally just as light as you.
Yeah.
And then his brother's darker than me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's fucking funny because no matter where you are in the world, the lighter people get treated better than the darker people.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah.
No matter where you are. Like you will have more benefits being light.
Big
In
time.
India, it's like there's a fucking industry behind it.
Okay, the
With Fair and Lovely skin lightening cream and shit like that.
So the Brazilian side of the family, there's a couple things because like Brazilians are always late. I think that's the black in them. Brazilians are so late
Yeah.
all the time. They love talking. They never know when to stop talking. They literally keep you for hours on end, just keep talking. But the one thing Brazilians have weird dietary stuff. Like we went to a pizza place in Brazil. They're like, yeah, there's tuna pizza, hard boiled egg pizza, ketchup pizza. I'm like, who the fuck eats this? But the one thing I've noticed, also Brazilians can't keep their legs closed, like ever. The one thing I've noticed, Brazilians.
What do you mean? They bang a lot, or
Yeah,
they just
they
when they sit?
bang a lot. Like
Yeah.
Brazilians are whores.
Like, do the women? Is there like? Do they talk shit about it, or is it's kind of like let her do her thing? Is it? You know what I mean? Is it? Like
I don't
a
know
patriarchal
I
kinda
don't know as much. I'm assuming it's more patriarchal because it's very Catholic.
Yeah.
and like it's a third world country, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, but they are actually more progressive.
Yeah.
Recently,
Whoa.
like they're really cool with like Mike Rita has a joke about like they're really cool with, like trans people being on TV. And
Yeah.
Mike Rita's joke is that his dad's like, "Oh, do you think that chick's hot?" And Mike Rita's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, it's a man." And then he's like, "No, it's not." He's like, "Yeah, you're kind of gay, Mike."
That's so funny.
Yeah, but so Brazil is more progressive now, and it's kind of a weird juxtaposition because like their president is very right.
Yeah.
He's very like, "Nah, fuck you. This is how I." He's like, he saw what Trump was doing, and he's like, "I'm just gonna be more extreme than that." Like with being brash with media, he's very, very conservative in his values. The thing about Brazilians love hard-boiled eggs, and I don't understand why. Everything has hard-boiled eggs in it.
Yeah.
Everything. I remember once I was my grandpa when we visited him in Brasilia, the meat pie had hard-boiled eggs in it. The pizza had hard-boiled eggs in it. They're like, "Yeah, we just eat them for breakfast." I'm like, "What the fuck's wrong with you people? Like this is disgusting."
They're like, when the slaves came, they brought many chickens with them. They could only eat the eggs. There's always some back fucking story.
Always.
A last question. Okay, this again, you can go on either end, but who do the Portuguese or the Brazilians? Who do they talk shit about? Who's the butt of joke?
Brazil, Argentina for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Argentina, 100%, because they're neighbors, the soccer rivalry,
Yeah.
everything. My great grandma, she's still alive. I think she's 100. She has this saying. She's like, whenever Argentinians are in town, it rains. And when we went there in 2013, we went for World Youth Day. It's like this giant Catholic. It's like this giant Catholic event, but really it's like it's spring break for.
It's
Catholics.
like birthright for the Jews, but in Brazil.
Well, it's like this event that gets put on around the world. So like in 2016, it was put on in Poland, where Pope John Paul II was from.
Oh, so it's Catholic Olympics. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's Catholic. Okay. It's like Catholic spring break, but just like everybody goes and they fuck, and nobody talks about it. And so the Pope's Argentinian,
Except in confessions, right? You've never seen a busier confession than fucking Youth Day or whatever the fuck.
World Youth Day. And so when the Pope was in town, he's Argentinian. Literally, it was 10 degrees and raining the whole week. And my great grandma's like, "See, I fucking told you." And Portuguese, as a country, the Spanish. My mom doesn't like Spanish people, but since she's Azorian, the mainlanders.
Really?
The Portuguese people from the mainland, yeah.
They don't like them.
They don't like them.
And the Azorian, and then the mainland.
Mainlanders
fuck
don't
yeah.
like these Azorians.
It's
Like
the same
whenever I
shit
talk to
all
people,
over
they're like,
again.
"Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, San Miguel. They're like, "Oh, you're an Azorian." I'm like, "Fuck you,
It's the
asshole."
same Italy, Sicily shit again
Yeah,
all
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Dude, I love it, man. This is,
Tribalism, bro.
this has been a fucking pleasure, man.
This was awesome. Thank
Yo,
you so much.
please look into the camera. Tell the people where they can find
Okay,
you.
you can find me on Instagram at Bueno No Bueno. That's BUENO BUENOO. I was kicked off. So every O I put now is like a teardrop tattoo for me getting kicked off Instagram.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I post there. I'm gonna get back on my TikTok and YouTube grind. Same app for TikTok, but Instagram is where I'm the most active. So yeah, if you find me there, I'll be posting shit.
As always, scroll below. You'll find the man's details in the description. From my end, follow the socials at Abbas Wahab _. Support the show directly at patreon.com/the Immigrant Section. We've got bonus episodes every Friday. Thank you for coming on, bro. I got to have
Thank
you
for
back
having
on.
me, man. This is awesome.
After Orlando, when you
course.
come back, when you fucking only make it there 13 days. You're like, this is what happened with Orlando. all right?
No, I'll have the papers. I'll have the papers.
Yo, for next time, it's your boy signing out. Peace.